Hey guys, welcome to our call. Kim Meyer is with us today. Hello, Kim.
Hey.
Kim is from Iowa, and she is a 2018 Elite Coach, a lifetime six-star diamond. I sit there and went over it before, right before, and I forgot all of it. So if I've missed anything, let me know. But Kim's going to share with us how to share on Instagram and maybe what she does with her Power Hour. So I will shut up, Kim, and let you have the floor.
Four. All right. Well, like Kim said, my name is Kim Meyer, and I am a 2018 Elite Coach. I am from Iowa. I am a mom of two. I'm a full-time school administrator, and so I'm actually here in my office, the lights off, here to present to you and talk to you about how you can grow your businesses in pockets of time, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, or just being consistent in general. One of the things I talked about with your leaders was that, consistency, finding people, like just running to run with the business and go with things. So I just want to share with a little bit of my journey and how I've gotten there and how maybe that can help you. So just consistency wise, I would say from the very beginning, I started with just doing pockets of time. Like I said, I'm a full-time school administrator. I didn't really know what I was doing when I first got in. I've been coaching now for 3 years. So now it's kind of a habit. But to get to a habit, you need to start with consistency. So what I did, and what I still do to this day, not consistently on paper, but what I have always done is write down 5 to 10 names a day. So like consistently wise, like I'm going to find, when I first started, it was taking my friends list and just breaking that down into 5 people each day on my paper. And then those were the 5 people that I invited for the day. So I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't have to worry about, who am I going to invite today and waste time there, because I really only had 25 to 30 minutes between my workout and when I needed to get ready for school or get my kids going. And so I just needed to be automatic and get going. So having that prep kind of ahead of time was really helpful. And so I just had, like I said, 5 names written down. And then regardless of who they were, those are the 5 people that I invited. Now, back in the day, I am still kind of a cold inviter versus a warm inviter market kind of thing. Now, a lot of these people are part of my warm market, so it wasn't completely weird for me to be reaching out to them. But it was a script. It was something that I could personalize quickly, since I knew probably what they were doing over the weekend, that kind of thing. Like, hey, I saw you went to the wedding this weekend. You looked fabulous. Hey, by the way, would you? And then I had my blurb that I would send out. Today, now that looks a little bit different. We're in a very different atmosphere, different market. And so now that instead of a cold script that I send out, now it's a video. I can do videos from my phone. Same people, same kind of way, but I'm going for 5 to 10 new people. You probably saw more than 5 people on my list each day, is because I'm trying to 10x some things, or I'm just at a different place in my business. So making sure that I'm getting at least 5 to 10 names on the paper with inviting or adding to my network kinds of things is really vital. And as long as you're showing up and doing something consistent, even if you're not hearing back from anything right away, as long as you're planting some seeds with people, it will start to happen. It's like that compound effect. I know that was a book a lot of us read, as first-time coaches, and so doing that kind of thing where you're just doing small actions over time are going to lead into big things eventually. So whether that's on Facebook or whether that's on Instagram, lots of great ideas to share with you today. I'm actually going to send Kim a document that is called a Power Hour. Let me share my screen with you quick. Here. This is called the Road to Diamond Power Hour by Diamond Tracker, and I can't take credit for this by any means. This is something that somebody else on my team helped create, but it's all the same things that I've been talking about over and over. And I have a different document that's really, it's not as pretty, but this one is the one I'm going to share with you because it's all the same stuff. And so basically, as long as you're going through here, and if you do this on a daily basis, if you're a runner, if you do this on you fill it out half of it each day, if you're kind of one of those joggers, or if you're a walker and just you get through this the week, that's totally up to you. It's how fast you want to use it, but it's all the components that you need. Are you adding to your network? If you're not adding, you're not growing. Are you starting new conversations every day? Or are you sticking with the same people over and over again? Are you adding to your stories? Are you doing invites? Are you talking to people? How about follow-ups, the fortunes in the follow-up, right? What about your social media? Are you sharing your story and doing your vital behaviors as well? And then the non-negotiables of PD and all that kind of stuff. So this has just kind of it's been helpful for a bunch of my team. This is like for me today. I haven't like been working in Power Pocket, so I don't have all of it filled out yet, but by the end of the day, I'll have it all completely filled out. I will sometimes do check marks depending on what's going on, and sometimes I actually write their names in there. So it's another way for me to kind of track. Then that's where I don't get my names in my planner actually, but that's okay because I've got them written down someplace. I also have started to use Google Streak as kind of my content management system or kind of thing, connection management system. And so whenever I get an email for sure, then that's when I put that in there and keep track of people there and walk them through kind of my funnel or how things are going. So how do you kind of get started with some things? How do you use some of these tools, and how do I start making connections? Well, let's kind of get to that. I'll stop my screen so you don't see that anymore. What I'd like to do is on Facebook, this is simple, but adding to your network is about friends of friends. Who has birthdays? How many friends do you have in common? Those are things we've heard a lot of. But did you also know that you can go to your stories on your Facebook page? Like if you have it connected on your IG, that it automatically posts to your Facebook stories as well as your Instagram stories. The people on your Facebook page are also watching your story. And last night I sent probably 12 or 13 invites to new people that were watching my stories. It's not something that I do every day, but because I sometimes get a lot of the same people watching, but they're, at least a couple times a week I go there as well as my Insta stories and look for new people that are seeing my stuff on a different platform. So stories are definitely a place to go. And then another thing to do is, when you're on your Insta stories, as long as let's kind of just go through a power hour here, I guess. I might as well make some work happen. So the first thing I want you to do is just create a story. If you don't have a story already, create one. Like, hey, you're on a Zoom call today, that kind of thing. Add a story in there. And if you have, we talked to NLC at the New Leader Conference. You should all try to get there if you can. Earlier this year, it happens in February every year for 1 star and above. And if you qualify for that, it's a great conference to get to. This year, one of the big things to talk about was Instagram, and you've probably heard a lot of people talking about Instagram, National Wake Up Call, everything. Everyone's talking about that. So one of the things was a big thing there was to have 5 to 6 themes throughout the day. And have those themes can be more than, a couple story pieces, the most 15-second chunks, but making sure that it's kind of concise. And the fact that you want people to be able to know who you are, but like they know what to expect from you as well. So if you have a story on your page on there, then keeping that consistent. And then also one thing that they talked about was not having like a million little bars across the top. So like this is the first story that I did this morning. Oh, back to it. I was dancing because it was Monday. So as you see across the top, you see there's not a lot of lines up there. You don't want to have like, if you've been to stories where there's just like tons of stuff on there, people don't want to watch all of that. So as long as you can make sure that you are giving information, but not overloading people, because pretty soon you're just going to have people just tap through, or they're just going to swipe away from you because they're kind of over it. So make sure you're kind of keeping it themed out. So one thing I want you to do for sure every day on your story is that you're doing an invite to your challenge group. Whether you're sharing transformation pictures from your team, transformation pictures from your challenge group, whether you're just face-to-face with a camera talking about your amazing challenge group that you've got coming up, making sure that every single day you're inviting in your stories to your upcoming group. And don't just talk, like, people don't want to be sold. They don't want to be, feel like you're trying to sell on them. They want to make sure that you're talking about testimonies, that you're talking about why this stuff works, why this process works for you, and what you can do about how they can join you in the process. You want to talk about your journey, and you want to talk about things that are helpful to you. So like I work out this morning where I didn't, but I could have. Maybe do it tomorrow morning. After a flow day. And just what I like to do sometimes, as on Saturdays, especially when I have more time in my day, is to go live for 4 or 5 minutes, usually those last 2 rounds. And then I sit and talk to my audience and talk about how I feel and what Kim was like before and what Kim is like now, and how those kinds of things. So they understand that process. but I'm not trying to sell to them. I'm not trying to say like, oh, you need to get a challenge pack. Like I do have a kind of salesy one on my stories right now with the daily sunshine. All I do is take a picture of the daily sunshine thing, whatever. But I rarely do stuff like that. I do 3 to 4 different moves for my workout every day, and talk about how and ask questions. That's another good thing. Making sure you're asking questions, doing a lot of polls, give them opportunities to interact with you. Because the more people can interact with you instead of just watching the highlight reel, they're going to be able to engage and you have an open door to a conversation. So if you have a poll, my goal this week is to ask a question every day on my Facebook page as well as my Instagram. But one of the questions I asked today was, do you like to stand or sit? Like, is that like which one would you like to do? And then tonight my post will be about the benefits of standing versus sitting and how sitting is the new smoking kind of thing. So then later I'll share some value, but I've got people engaged and coming to my page to answer that question. They want to talk about it. And then going back and responding to everybody. On Instagram, same thing. If people are watching your story, it's as simple as saying, hey, thanks for watching my story. Maybe you've checked out their page, invite them to your next group, especially if it's a workout one. And then you can talk to new people and start new conversations that way. That's a lot of where my new conversations come from on that document, is I'm just starting new conversations with people. So as I kind of scroll through here, and you can, when you look and see how you've got new people on your page or who's seen it, you just basically, when you're looking at it, you can just swipe up and that's where you can see everyone that's seen it. I don't know how many of you know about using hashtags and locations in your Insta stories, but one thing that I really kind of got excited about this morning was that you can change, like I've been changing the color and hiding all my hashtags. Like I've been putting, what I do is, I'll just do one quick here, delete it. But if I could do it of you guys. So if I take a picture and then on here, if I go to on my phone, in my notes section, I have all my hashtags saved in a note. So what I'll do is I will, like my favorite hashtags. I got this idea from, well, I've used it for a long time, but I've been changing up my hashtags based off one of the national makeup calls we had earlier in the year. So really, really tailored to my avatar. So I've copied that. And now when I'm doing my Insta story, I'm going to add those hashtags in here. And see how they're kind of white? Well, I've got a lot of black in my picture. So I'm going to turn the text to black. But one thing that I learned this morning that I've seen this little eyedropper here before, but I never really thought about it. Like my walls in my basement are kind of a tannish color, and like they're really not like any of the colors that are listed here, but I wanted to hide my hashtags. So I touched the eyedropper and then I touched a spot on my wall and it changed them the exact color. So then when then I can shrink it down really tiny and turn it even and put it in the black, and you can't even see that they're there. And then I'll do the same thing with location. Just what I hear, and I make it teeny, 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 tiny. And then I might hide it in like the white of your door, so you can't even see that it's there. And then when that happens, I'm going to save that because that's a fun picture. But I'm not going to post it because I'm not supposed to do it at school. And then, so then when I go to my stories, then when I'm in my stories, you can see then like, it doesn't always pick them up, and it's kind of hard to see, but like there's the stories of like the location, seeing them, and then different hashtags. And so depending on how or where they're used, sometimes a lot of them will show up and sometimes like none of them will show up. It's kind of hit or miss. But I've even tried experimenting with like not all 30 of them. Like if it's just food that I'm posting, I just do my food ones. If it's just a faith-based one, I just do my faith ones, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of fun, and to kind of keep new people seeing your content all the time. And then when new people do see your stuff, then you send them a picture message or a video. So I'm going to pick just somebody that has not seen my stuff lately. And I might say something like, oh, Chris, she's new. All right, so I might say something like, I grabbed the video. So it's a video on me, and I'm like, Hey, Chris, how's it going? I'm so glad that you are watching my story. I really appreciate your support. Hey, I have a new group coming up in April, and I think you'd be perfect for it. It's all about focusing in on yourself and, taking care of mom before all of the chaos of summer hits. Do you think you'd be in? And then I hit send, and that's as simple as it is. So it's really making that personal message. And when people are brand spanking new, like she's watched my stories for a while, like we've been in conversation. Then what I would do then is I'm just sending it, making it personal. So it's not just like a robotic kind of thing of like, here's a script that I'm pasting to a whole bunch of people. And just, it makes it fun. And if you stumble over your words, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's who you are. And if they were talking to you on the phone, they'd get the same live thing. So just be you. And so, do that, talk to each other or talk to your people for about 5-10 minutes. Make sure that you are thanking them for watching your story. The attitude of gratitude projects, good things from the universe. Using your hashtags. When you're going to different hashtags to find people, one of the things that I like to do is go to one of my favorites and just search for, sometimes I'll go to places is what I really like to do. And then a place that we like to go to is the Cedar Ridge Winery. Or if like you're a mom and you like go to pumpkin patches, just type in pumpkin patch. It doesn't have to be in your area. It doesn't have to be, like one of your favorite things, and just search for things and then go find cool pictures. So like this girl looks cool. So I go to her picture and I check out her page. Oops. So it looks like I try to follow people that have under 500 followers because it's usually, they're not somebody that's like super big kind of, or like just check them out. So I'll go here and I'll like 5 to 6 of her photos, whatever jumps out at me that seems like me. And then I will comment on a couple of them as well. So then when she comes back and, wants to talk about things later, then I can quickly go to her page and see what it is and then have those conversations. And then if she has a story here, which she does, then I'll watch her story so she knows that that I'm watching her too. She's headed to Athens next. That's kind of cool. Feeling kind of left out here. She's heading there, not me. So she is somebody that has more of a business because it's a link in the bio. So she's a travel enthusiast. So those are kind of people that I might, when I get to a certain point, I'm like, do I want to, you got to keep your Instagram clean. And the fact that you have people that you're watching their stories of people that you know and that you want to be a part of their life. And when you're going through stories, you can do the same thing. So I would do that. I would go through a hashtag, I would find a bunch of people. Maybe it's 5 to 10 people that you like 3 to 5 pictures on each of their things. You comment on 1 to 2 of them. And then, so you're engaging with people, you're communicating with people so that they'll come back and communicate with you. If you're watching their stories, they'll come back and watch your stories probably, especially if you follow them. So it's kind of the next step. My next thing in my power hour would be to go to the stories across the top. And I'll watch people's stories. I'll comment on them. If they're a coach, then I skip over them. Ads for skipping over. This is a coach. A lot of my coaches are on this morning. And so like, oh goodness, I wouldn't like snakes, like I'll respond. Sometimes I do a video response from here and sometimes I just do text, like just, especially if I don't know them, like I'll just be texting. But yeah, that's a great way to do it too. So the next kind of thing would be going through your stories, watch the people that you're following stories and respond to, 2 to 3 per person, or at least you're having conversations, starting new conversations with people. I always think of it as like, I go into a coffee shop or I go to a party and their story is like me walking up and listening to a conversation. And how are you contributing to that conversation? Are you the creepy person that just like walks up and just kind of stands there and listens and then walks away? Or are you like, do you engage in the conversation? Like think about it kind of like that. And then you can move from there. And then the last thing that I would do during my power hour with Instagram is then go back and do more stories myself. So I would add more things to my page and make sure that I'm putting more out there so that when those people that I've just engaged with come to check me out, there's more for them to see. And then follow-ups and those kinds of things. Anybody that I can get an email from, hey, you're interested, great. Can I have your email? I'd like to send you more information. Now, I don't, have a little bit more time left. I want to just, like, that's kind of just what I would do in a power hour of, connecting to hashtags, following people, being consistent and starting those conversations every day. Like I said, I'll send you the tracker and how you do that. But one other thing that I like to do is our team has really gotten big on canned responses, in the sense of, like, you don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. If you can get their email address, you pretty much have not necessarily a challenge pack in the bag, but like you have a great way of communicating with them in case they start ghosting you on on social media, or you just have a way to connect with them, right? And so I'll get to, let's see if I can get there. Bum, bum, bum. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what this is my email. And so I have a couple different things set up. One, if I just went to compose, I'm going to talk to you about canned responses. So canned response is in Google, and you get there by going to settings, and you can add it as a lab, and I can send information about that to you. Maybe I'll just show you quick. So if I go into settings in your Gmail, go to labs, and you're going to turn on canned responses. You can search for it and hit enable. And this will save you so much time. Like if you're worried about like pocket coaching, like this will help you. So get those turned on. And then what happens is when you start an email, that you are going to, you can import anything. So if I go in here and I have somebody that's interested in being a coach, so I'm going to insert this what's a coach, and now it's all in here. I don't have to recreate anything or worry about copying and pasting things. So now this is where I would personalize it. Hey, Kim, I'm so glad you're explaining about coaching. I would write something in here about something that I know about them and just really personalize it at the top. And then I would just, put their email address and hit send. All the information is in here that they're going to need. Obviously, it might clean up a little bit of it at the bottom. And then again, at the bottom, I would write something that I really like about them, why I think they'd be really good at it, and go from there. Now, how did I get that in there? Well, it's always a compose, and canned responses will show up in this little triangle down here and you can put in anything that you want in here. So if you go to insert, you just basically type it up for the first time, and then you save it, and then you just hit the insert whichever one you want to do. So this might be my mastering retreat is one I just did for March. So good afternoon, here's all the information, join this group, information, all is right there. Now down here, go to my drive. In here I have a list of canned responses, and my team shares these. So we all kind of create a basic one, and then I've tried a couple different ways, like a funnel email system of moving people through, and that's kind of worked. Otherwise, a lot of it's all kind of the same one. So this is what we use for ADA Obsession. Has a graphic. Again, this is like you would personalize this information to be you. What's this program about? This is after you've had conversations with people, but it's literally just copying and pasting this into an email and saving it, and then you just repeat it over and over again. Now, the second thing that I use to keep myself figured out here is what's called Streak. And if you've ever heard of Streak, it's an add-on that you can get. You can go to streak.com and just install it on your Chrome browser. And it's a great way to organize things. Now, I just uploaded everybody from my Coach Online office into here. So these numbers are all out of whack. So I just uploaded 400 some people. So they're not all interested in my boot camp. A lot of them are customers, and they're people I need to move into my other sections, my funnel. But Melanie Mitra has a really great video on her page that you can watch, or you can just go to Google anything of like how to use Streak. And so basically I set these up, and then I can move people across. So if I'm looking on here like Mindy Altraghi, so I'm just going to put her actual name in there. And she's in my current group. So I'm just going to add here. Now, the cool thing is, like when these are my follow-up people. These are people I sent canned responses to. It shows me when the last time I sent them an email was. it shows me if I go into their little box, it's called, I can see all the emails that I've sent them. I can put in other information where I got her from Facebook. This is her Facebook URL. I have a goal sheet that I send. She hasn't yet joined me, so that would come later on. And you can set pipelines up for leads that you get from Beachbody. I have one set up for my Beachbody account, and then we've started dabbling in the area of doing it for challenge groups as well. So once people are in my challenge group, if I have information that I'm going to send to them on a weekly basis, I would have kind of that email ready to go. And you can literally check the box and send all 30 of those at once and not have to worry about sending each individual email as you go. So those are kind of some just tips and tricks of things that I'm doing that have been helpful for me to grow my business, especially as life gets busier and the business gets busier, getting farther into it. When I first started, I was like, hey, if I could get my Shakeology paid for, that'd be awesome. So I know I need to invite 3 to 5 people a day, hit Success Club and be good to go. Well, now it's more of like, this is what I want to do for my lifestyle. What am I do for my job? And so I've just continued to grow. And as it's nobody is doing anything different than you at the top. They're just doing more of it. So if you want to go faster, then do more of the vitals, and you'll be able to go where you need to go a little bit quicker. And if you're stuck on something, ask questions. If you ever want to reach out, please email me, or Kim knows how to get a hold of me. You can friend me on Facebook or Instagram and ask. I'm an open book. And so hopefully that was helpful.
It was awesome. Thank you so much. I've heard about Streak. I'm not taking away from everything else you shared, but some of the other coaches we've talked to shared, I use Streak. And I'm like, well, I'm an Asana girl. So I hadn't really peeked at Streak, but Streak looks like something I need to look into. That looks
check out.
Yes.
Yeah, what I liked about it is that I'm a Google user anyway, and so it was just simple to be right in there. And I played with Streak. I wish I would have just been all in from the beginning, but back in October, November, when we started using canned responses, that's when I installed it. So I could see that they'd seen it before I sent them a follow-up. And I wish at that point I would have been adding them to boxes and organizing them. But now I'm just I got to go in and organize now.
That's the thing. I'm like, oh gosh, I'll have to look at it. But for a brand new coach, this would be something.
Mm-hmm. If they can learn some organizational steps along the way, it makes it so much simpler.
Yes, so someone like the top coach, versus the coach just learning. It is the vital behaviors of being consistent, but knowing these little tricks makes it so much better. And time management is such a major, for a lot of people, that's a major benefit to have that Streak or tracking system.
Something set up. Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. Thank you. I took
You're
notes.
welcome.
So not that I can't go back and watch, but I'm a note taker.
Yeah, me too. I take notes on any Zoom that I'm on. I think it's important, whether I'm helping with a Zoom or I'm just watching a Zoom. Anytime I get on, I try to unplug everything around me and just focus and take notes, because you can learn something from anybody. So
yes, I totally agree. Everyone we've had a guest speaker on, I'm like, okay, I learned this nugget. I learned that nugget. So it's really cool. I appreciate you being on. I'm anxious to go try out some of this stuff now. So,
yay, good. Well, let me know how it goes.
I will. Thanks again. I'll let you go. Maybe you can grab some lunch before you have to, go back to work.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.